Hello. I'm going to show you how to use Sketchup to create dovetails in a jiffy. I've got my drawer parts here. We've got the drawer front, the side, and the back. They're lined up with the Sketchup axis lines, green for front to back, blue for up and down, red for left to right. That'll help me keep everything lined up as we go along. Each one of these parts is what Sketchup calls a component. In other words, it's a virtual board. I can make changes to any one of these parts, and the changes won't affect any of the other parts. All I need to do for the dovetails on all four corners of the drawer is create one pin shape, copy it over and over, move it into position, and that will give me half pins, full pins, and tails for half blind dovetails here at the front and through dovetails here at the rear. Let me show you how that's going to work. Just going to move around for a different view here. Use the tape measure tool to put in a guideline at the top of the drawer side. And out here, lined up with this guideline, I'm going to draw a little box. It's just a ½ inch on a side. That's where I'm going to create my pin shape. I'm using a ½ inch because the overlap is ½ inch, front or back, and I want a ½ inch on the widest part of the pin because that'll fit my chisel. Use the protractor tool to put in the angles for the pin. I'm using 12 degrees, but there's no magic to that number. You can pick a different number if that suits you. Now I'll trace over those guidelines with the pencil tool and erase the parts I don't need with the eraser. So there's my pin. And it's lined up so that the center of the widest part will fall right on the top edge of the drawer side. That'll give me the half pin that I want at the top and at the bottom. Now, I'm going to just double click that shape, and that will select everything. And with my Move Copy tool, I'm going to grab it right here at the midpoint. Sketchup tells me when I'm at the right spot, and I'm just going to make a copy. On the Mac, I hold down Option. On the PC, it would be the Control key to copy, and I'm going to drag it right along. It's going parallel to the red axis, and I'm going to drag it until it lines up with the intersection of the drawer front and the drawer side, just like so. Now the pin is still selected, so I can grab it again right there at the midpoint. And again, I'm going to make a copy by holding down the Option key. This time, I'm dragging along the edge of the drawer front, and I'm going to drag until that midpoint touches the bottom, just like so. And I'm immediately going to type /4. And as you can see, what that does is create equally spaced copies between the top pin shape and the bottom pin shape. Now again, there's no magic to the number 4. I could have chosen 5 or a different number. And you can always take any one of these pin shapes and move it up and down if you want to vary the spacing between your pins and tails. I'm going to do that same operation to place the pin shapes here at the back for the through dovetails. But of course, I first need to change the direction of the pin shape, and I can do that by going to Edit and flip along. In this case, it's the red direction because I'm flipping it along the red axis line. This time I can grab it at the midpoint, but I don't have to make a copy. I can just move it. I'm going parallel to the red axis right along the top of the drawer. And again, I'm going to stop when that midpoint hits the end of the drawer back, just like so. And again, just like before, I'm going to make a copy and drag the copy down until that midpoint touches the bottom of the drawer back, just like so. And again, /4 to place evenly spaced copies. Okay, and as you can see, the space between the pins defines the tails, and that's just the way I want it. What I have to do now is take all of these pin shapes and make them part of the drawer side. Right now they're just attached to nothing. So I'm going to draw a box from left to right to surround this pin shapes here at the front. If I drew the box from right to left, I'd select more stuff than I want. I'm going to go to Edit, Cut, because I don't want these pins here now. I'm going to then double click on the drawer side, and as you can see, that opens up a little box around it that says I can make changes to the drawer side, but nothing else. And I'm going to go back to Edit and Paste in Place. Now those pin shapes are part of the drawer side. I'm going to repeat that operation here at the back. Draw a box around those pin shapes. That highlights them, as you can see. Go to Edit, Cut. Again, double click on the drawer side and go to Edit, Paste in Place. Now I have the pins on the drawer side, and with this side open, I can start to use the push-pull tool and the eraser like a chisel and a coping saw to get rid of the waste and shape my pins. First thing I'm going to do is erase this stray half pin here at the top. And I'm going to switch to the push-pull tool, hover it in one of those pin shapes, click and push till I touch the back end of the drawer side. There are other ways to get rid of waste, but this is clear and easy to follow, I hope. We'll do some erasing down here, and one more pin shape. There we go. And I'll do the same thing here at the back. I can use a slightly different technique to clear out the pins back here. Just do some erasing. I need to add a line here at the bottom as well to define that half pin there. What I can do this time is just push like so, and once I've done that, I can double click, and that repeats the push-pull operation. One more half pin. There we go. Now I've got my drawer side complete. There you can see my tailboard is finished. And I can use these tail shapes now and transfer them to the drawer front and the drawer back. Let me show you how that works. The first thing I'm going to do again is double click the drawer side, and I'm going to draw another box from left to right That will highlight the shapes of the pins and tails here. This time I'll go to Edit, Copy. I want to copy those shapes. Now I'm going to go to Edit and hide the drawer side. This is just for clarity to get it out of the way temporarily. Double click the drawer front and use that paste in place command again. As you can see, that puts the tail shapes on the drawer front, and now I can simply do a few mouse clicks and that creates my dovetail sockets. I can also draw a box around all that geometry, all those shapes, select everything there, and again, like I did for the original pin shapes, I'll hold down Option, copy all of that. I want to make it point the right direction, so I'm going to go back to my Edit tab and choose Flip Along. In this case, it's the green direction because I move things along the green axis line. I'm going to grab a corner with my Move tool and just move it along the green axis until it comes back into position at the opposite end of the drawer front. And again, I can just do a little erasing, and I've got another set of sockets there on the drawer front. So that's complete. I can bring back my drawer side by unhiding it and repeat that operation for the drawer back. So here we go again. Double click the side, highlight the pin and tail shapes there, go to Edit, Copy, and back to Edit to hide the drawer side just temporarily. Double click the drawer back so I can make some changes to it, and then go back to Edit and paste in place. And there are the tail shapes there in position. Again, I can just, with a few mouse clicks, cut the pins on the drawer back, and like I did in the front, we'll just highlight all of those pin shapes and copy them and move them to the opposite side. And we'll again flip them along so they're pointed in the right direction, and then just bring them back into position like so. I see I have a straight line down here. We'll get rid of that quickly. And we'll push out the waist. It's just like using a coping saw and a chisel, but it goes a whole lot faster. I see I'm missing a face here, so we'll just fill that back in. So now I have my drawer back complete, my drawer front complete, and the drawer side. Let's bring everything back into view. I don't have to do any more copying of shapes. What I'm going to do is just highlight the drawer side, copy with the Option key and move it along the green axis. And again, I want to orient it correctly. And grab a corner, bring it back into place. And there we have it. Full set of dovetails for a drawer. Through dovetails here in the back, half blind dovetails here in the front. Done in a jiffy, and all it took was creating one pin shape. Thanks for watching. I hope this helps.